So the first desire, power and truth. I'm sure you've heard of the cliche saying, knowledge is power. And I think all humans desire to know the truth, which is why lies hurt so much. A lie is essentially a deprivation of a desire we have to know the truth. So what else does truth encapsulate? I think truth can come in almost three forms, and these three forms are almost scaffolded on top of each other. The first is data, the second is knowledge, and the third is wisdom. Now you might be asking, what's the difference between data, knowledge, and wisdom? Well, let me explain it this way. Data is knowing that you have two plates in front of you and each plate has two apples on them. Knowledge is knowing that 2 apples plus 2 apples equals 4 apples, and I usually eat 2 apples for lunch. Wisdom is knowing that since 2 plus 2 equals 4 apples, and you usually eat 2 apples for lunch, wisdom is taking 2 apples and leaving them on your plate, and then taking the other 2 apples and putting them on the counter for later or in the fridge or whatnot. So data is raw information, and then knowledge is knowing how to properly process that information, and then wisdom is knowing how to properly apply that information which has been processed. So that's sort of truth. Now, what is power doing in the midst? You could argue that the desire for control links under power. Control could also link underneath the third category of desires, which we talked about in the previous video, which is comfort. You could maybe even place like fame here. That's a little bit more like acceptance or wanting to feel mattered, which is more of the second category desire. But why do we seek power over people or over entities, over businesses, over things? I think if not for control, maybe to put in more of a less harsh connotation of terms, you could argue that it's for influence. You want to have influence over people, whether that's to influence them to make your life easier, influence them in order to communicate an ideology that you prescribe to. But why do we say knowledge is power? Where do those two link up together? Because usually to gain power, and of course there's exceptions to the rule, one must be knowledgeable within the subject or topic or field in which you are trying to gain influence in. If you wish to be the best at something, if you wish to be at the top of a business, then you need to be knowledgeable in the craft, in the art, in the system in which that is laid in. I think at the same time, you also need to be knowledgeable on how the system works. I mean, how do certain people rise the corporate ladder when others don't? You could say that they just know how to work the system, which is still knowledge. I also think this is why podcasts and long-form discussion videos have kind of gone off the charts in the last decade, because people just want to learn about everything. And after all, we do live right now in the age of information. So now what? I would like you to think about something that you don't know a lot about, or something you've always been slightly curious towards. Maybe it's as simple as, why is bread shaped that way? Or did we name the fruit after the color orange, or the color after the fruit? Or how does hibernation work? That's kind of weird, right? Anything. And go ahead, take some time right now and do some quick research on it. Fuel that flame of curiosity. And that's it for this video, so stay tuned for the next video where we will dive more deeply into wisdom and how do we get there. Hope to see you there.